guys, alien goddess, welcome back. So I've let my hair down so you can see all of the waves, because we are going to be talking Naga Panchami, the serpent, the Kundalini, with this Naga Panchami, and even beyond that, right? So I thought, like, that serpent energy, you can just see it in all like the waves and the tangled mess that is my my hair. There's so much to say, I almost couldn't figure out how to put it in words for this video, because once you're in that, so for me, I very heavily integrated the Shiva, the nothingness, the voidness, and that direct line, right? Shiva is the pole, Shakti is the serpent that climbs the pole. And then Devi came in. Oh my gosh. I literally was a little unsettled because, like I said, Devi doesn't just sit, she freaking oscillates the pole. Like, this is Shiva. This is Devi, Shakti, right? Okay. Yeah, and Tantra, we're gonna get into it. I'm literally wearing black and red right now. My room is literally white and black. I did my own Naga, you can see, with the egg and the serpent. So, once again, I am so connected to this current. That is why this is probably the hardest thing for me to talk about, because it is not just experienced mentally, it is lived, it is embodied, it is like, this is how I move, right? With that being said, I'm feeling like, first off, my videos are not made for kids, and any sexual references or body parts, let me say this for YouTube and everybody else, is for an educational purpose. So even if I'm talking about my experiences, because I have experienced this current from the bottom up, and now I'm feeling like, as we just went through the bottom of the snake, the K2, right? I'm feeling like, and my Rahu is in Dhanishta, and I'm in my Rahu Dasha. So I feel like when you naturally get to a certain point in your journey of experiencing the K2, the body, and you get to the Rahu, once you connect the head back to the snake, metaphorically, and this, you can look at my whole body of experience like a giant serpent, right? You can even look at like the tarot, the hero's journey, as the journey of the hero ascending through the columns, the spinal columns. Like I said, this is so in-depth, guys, so in-depth, so evasive, so pervasive, so permeating, that it breaks my brain to try to explain this. But with the you can see it, I have baby fangs behind my canines, which also is very serpentine for me, and the fangs, right? I reference that because we're coming into the Rahu, which is the fangs of the cobra, the teeth, the head, the thinking, the sharing, the ejecting of the energy, right? When a cobra spits, which I can get into spitting, and it spits venom, but it also spits essence, energy, knowledge, and it's about this outward push now. Now, Naga Panchami hasn't happened yet. It's on the 17th, and we are on the 14th. So it's in a few days. But one thing, serpent energy and everything, it's got a connection with water. It literally holds, contains, and guides the fire. This whole thing is so pervasive and so in-depth, but I will touch on it, okay? Because, like I said, I'm in my my Rahu, my outward expression. I was thinking that I was going to get like a lower lower tattoo. I've been planning on getting either a snake or a dragon for a very long time, and it's been moving around. But now I'm not leaving it. Like, I'm definitely going to, I think I'm going to literally make this thing crazy. Like, it has to rise. We can't just keep the snakes in the lower, right? So yeah, any experiences. So this is my opening. This is what I've been led to. This is what my journey's been leading to. So because I literally live this way, I am constantly in that Serpentine Kundalini energy, and it just happened naturally. I mean, you can see it in my chart, you can just see it in how I live. I mean, right? And it's been an inward journey, and now my Cobra, my head, and my K2, my Rahu, I'm activating that access for myself. So my Rahu's in the 8th house, my K2's in the 2nd house. So I have a 2nd house, 8th house axis. So bottom up, literally. So I've been journeying into the Rahu. The Rahu has been in the underworld, and now the Rahu is reaching through the chart, ascending from the underworld back up into, it's also a tree. There's also an association with a tree for this karmic access with the roots of the tree and the top of the tree. So trees, snakes, apples, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my access. Now for me, I've been connecting back with the body of it, the bottom up of it, and now it's all moving into the upper, the venom spitting, the transmission. I talked about this in my other video about wisdom keeping. Once again, this is a current that you find. You find this current. This current just, it is either deeply embedded in you or it's not. That's what I've realized. So any sexual experiences or references are for education purposes of this Kundalini. I feel like my whole life there was even a moment in a deck, of course it was Isis energy, the cult of Isis that led into every priestess, Serpentine, Delphic, Orphic, Ophite cult of its life, right? Even Egypt with the serpents, the cobras, right? But that was my very first Kundalini experience, and that was back in 2011, I think. I believe it was 2011. And then from then on, my whole life, my whole journey, you will find that once that snake stirs, your whole life it's like you literally go into the mouth of it. Like the Ouroboros, like eating the dragon's tail. There's like once that energy actually wakes up, it literally engulfs your entire system. And then then you're on this journey of the serpents, of the connections between the electric pulses in your brain. You're on the journey of the nadis, the connections of the nadis, the entire energetic system, the tree of life, right? Look, like the tree of life diagram. It's a serpent, okay? and you go through all of the trees and the paths and then finally the crown. So Rahu, the head, the whole journey is connecting the body back with the head. And once you get to that point, then you have to start spitting. Then you're going to start spitting knowledge. Then it's like, okay, share, okay, teach, whatever it is, right? And it is so difficult, personally for me, to put this into words, but then I can literally be talking about this, because once you get to a certain point and the head connects back with the body, you see it, you live it, you breathe it in every aspect of your life. This is where you come to the realization that you've been living your Tantra, that you've been on the Tantric path for this entire time. And for me, I've had experience with white Tantra, red Tantra, and black Tantra. Yeah. And so the overarching your experience, and then when the head connects back with the body, like I talked about with my white cobra, right? It was white because I literally had light bursting out of blood from the void, which I am, right? So that whole thing has layers and energetic transmissions, and we can go into that. But basically, like I said, this is so in depth. But basically, when you get to a certain level of experience, because you experience this, I don't know how else to say it, you experience this. And I don't want this just to be about Naga Panchami. I want this to be I think even my purpose swallowing me, right? And how snakes literally swallow things whole. Even that has energetic understanding and symbolism. Or when you see towers with copper coils wrapped around it, the coil, like, that is serpent energy. It is electric, it is water, it is fire, it is the connection between all the elements. The serpent itself becomes the holder of the void in which everything emanates from. And this is this doesn't have to be just feminine, this is masculine too. Now, masculine serpent energy, I can touch on. Feminine serpent energy, I am that. Like, if you're looking for a pythonist, a pythonic, serpentine, rose holder, activated void birther, that is my archetype, bro. Okay. like that's why it's so in depth to talk about it, because I'm like, I don't I just am this, so it's so hard to put it into words. But then this is the venom spitting, this is the transmission, right? So we're gonna talk about, like, moving it in every aspect. I'm just going to basically own my dragon queen, own my pythonist, own my Delphic, my Orphic, my Ophitic, my Naga king queen ness. And I'm just gonna start transmitting just from my experiences. And yeah, so this whole thing, you get to a point where, I mean, it's like, it really is. I think we will go through levels of understanding if your Kundalini, your Naga, your Serpentine energy is stirring. Because in my experience, for me personally, it's not like it just woke up. It's like getting entirely devoured, like swallowed. Like once that snake woke up for me, that serpent, that Kundalini energy, my whole life was devoured. There was no going back. It was like initial plunge, straight into void, straight into the duat, straight into the da'at, like straight into the, and then it was the journey of the unveiling, of the revealing, of the shedding, the rebirth, over and over and over and over again, which is also serpent, death, rebirth processes, right? Hero's journey, the tarot, serpent. So yeah, and so we will see, I always want to like this can be found, and just by sharing my experiences, I can help you reveal your experiences. But also, this is a very embodied and energetic process, right, that starts internal in the void, in the emptiness, right? And then, or like the void, and then it like emerges, then it just drips and leaks through every layer of your existence. And this is just personally how I've seen it, till like, if this is your core currents, if this resonates with you, and if you even hold, we'll talk about like energetic keys and bloodlines and stuff that are really, really, really Naga, really, really, really serpent, right? But also not just in bloodlines, in the Maya as a whole, right? Like in the entire current that isn't just one culture, it's spread out through the entire world, and what's happening internally and externally, right? This is also like the within, without, which could be seen as like two oscillating serpents going out, coming in, right? Everything. Like I said, even on like poles that have snakes wrapped around them, or even like quartz crystal obelisks that have, like, if you wrap copper wire around it in a spiral pattern, or even Tesla coils that have the zigzags coming in and out, just like mine over here. Serpentine energy, also in India, very much Shiva Lingam energy, right? The snake, the serpentine, it may be smooth in India and like yoni shaped, but see how that's the masculine, right? The Shiva, and then the Shakti, it's in a wave or a spiral. It doesn't have to be wave shapes. The drum, it can be circular, very Ouroboros, and like Uraeus, which is like fire serpent. And the serpent goes from, it has different levels, so that's what I'm saying too. Like, once it starts, it's at its lower level, right? And then that's when you start getting the imagery of like serpents with wings, serpents on fire, understanding when it's moved through its watery kind of lower sheddings, death, rebirths, that it becomes like the serpent eating a dragon's tail in the traditional symbolism is so profound, because we go from a land, earth, water associated energetic force that evolves and merges into its highest state, which would be a dragon, because of wings, flight, ascension, high, and the ability to generate fire, to generate your own energetic, etheric fire, spirit fire, right? And seeing how they all have their layers and their associations. So we have Naga Panchami coming up on the 17th. I have been having immense, so how I've been honoring these eclipse seasons is I went outside for I think 4 hours straight, and I did not consume water, food, or any nicotine whatsoever. And I literally did yoga, and I had the Kamakaya. So Kamakaya is the form of the deity that I resonate with. I told you, here we go. And she's all about yoni, Tantra, right? And I have been blessed to have a partner that really allowed and held space and even kind of nudged me in the sexual currents and energies in our path, which ultimately is Tantra, but the deeper thing about Tantra is experiencing the serpent, the fire, the essence, the Kundalini inside of something, and then there's this outward expression of it. But being able to explore that Tantra sexual serpent current for myself in all areas, and even in association with my partner, like I said, so I am very I'm not a neophyte, okay? I am very adept, and now I'm being presented with my Nagas and with my Rahu and with my venom spitting, my transmission to share it. And listen, this is deep. This is encompassing. This is not just... This has threads, and it winds its way through many, many paths, traditions, and cultures. Like I said, even the tarot itself, that hero's journey, very, very Kundalini, very Serpentine. So I also said in my other video, this in that void space, and then we can get into the void, the nothing, the singularity, the nothing, the everything. This is where all of this comes together, and you can see it in symbolism. Now, I am going to be presented with a book or a deck for the symbolism, because if like I said, I have lived this since, 2011, and it is 2026, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, yeah, like around 13 or 14 years, roughly estimating. So if you're ready, if the snake is calling, right? And a lot of the times when that serpent starts to wake up, you start to see through Maya, the illusion breaks, the matrix cracks, right? There's this very deep fool's journey, diving straight into the void, into base reality, into substrate. That is initially when that energy wakes up. They call it, like, it could feel like a spiritual crisis, a dark night of the soul, whatever it is. But that's why there's such a deep primal connection with the Naga and the serpent, because it literally devours you, or it kicks you off the cliff and you're thrown into the void. You're thrown into, everything shatters. That's why there's warnings around Kundalini and everything. Because this is the spiritual initiation of your life. Like, this will either take you and devour you completely, and your whole life will be changed, and you will die, be reborn, die, be reborn. Because what people don't understand is 11:11 on the clock. The hero's journey does not just happen once. It goes back to the Fool. It is the Ouroboros. It goes back to the Fool. It's a cycle, right? It goes back to the Fool, and then it's also the Tree of Life. So you climb up the tree. The trees are never ending. The below and the above trees are they are never ending, okay? You get to one level and then you're diving right back down to the Fool and climbing up the tree again. So the snake is always waving. It is like the Milky Way. Like it is the primordial serpent. It is the sine wave of reality, very, very low and slow, and just constantly. You are always serpentining, okay? You get to there, even if you think that there's a top, you get right back down to the, dive off the cliff again, die again, reborn again, back to the Fool. So even if you're doing this bigger zoomed out picture, you're just doing this constantly isolating, oscillating, moving, everything. When you get, but you're moving through the layers, that's where the shedding of the skin happens. You're moving through the layers, you are ripping off everything. You're constantly in a state, in the serpentine energy, in that flow of revealing, ripping off, shedding, dying, reborn, everything. Now, positive side is, once you've gone through enough layers and had enough experiences, realize that you are mortal, you don't die. So death is always a doorway. Death is always a doorway, not an ending. This is what we do. And there could be, let's say this is a wave, right? Like a constant isolating wave of creation, right? Always you are always swimming in it. Always. Like timelines, right? They flow. Everything existing in that timeline. And then even if you jump timelines, you're just in another snake. So I literally seen it, like all of these Nagas. All these Nagas, right? This is the void. Naga, 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 wave, 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 right? They are the foundation. That energy is the foundation and emanation in which you swim in. You are Naga. Like, you got it? You are the void and the Naga. Okay, that just went really high understanding. But like I said, like, and this is layers. I don't think you can find another animal so beautifully, intimately connected that every single layer of that animal that's been depicted, that energy, that serpent energy, because it's we're not just talking physical snakes, even though they hold embodiments of this. We're talking about like how they like to climb in trees and be up high, but they lay on the ground on their bellies. They're so connected no matter where they go. If they're in their ascended form, if we're just talking physical snakes, hanging out in trees, they're still connected to the tree. Got it? the tree is, the roots extend into the earth. No matter where you go, that snake is connected to that living system, that energetic electric system. Whether in a tree or on the ground, the snake is connected to it. And then when the snake leaves the tree and poof, becomes a dragon and can fly, okay? And then this can also go into, see, like I said, this has so many layers. And I have had the beautiful, fortunate experience to be built for this. To literally, this is the blueprint of my birth chart. If I show you my birth chart, I have a crap ton of Scorpio energy. I have my Rahu's in Scorpio. I have most of my planets in Scorpio. So, 8th house, underworld, underground. But this is that void energy. And when you're being put in that void energy, you find your nagas, you find your serpents, and then you elevate it, you clean it, you rip it, you shed it, you rebirth it, and that naga rises from there, okay? And if you look at it technically, the way my chart's set up, my naga descends into there. Rahu in 8th house, K2, the tail of the snake, in 2nd house, ascending into there and then going into the layers. Now, if you work with the lower tree, see all the crap just pouring out. Anyways, there's two trees. There's a tree of life and there's a tree of death, right? The lower tree of death. So if you want to look at it, how mine goes through life into death, but then, like I said, it rebirths, it circulates. There is no, it's always life, death, life, death, life, death. Above, below, above, below, above, below. In, without, in, without, in, without. Heaven, hell. No, we're not using that. Throw that out. Light, dark. Light, shadow. But then the naga is the one that you start, instead of going like this, you start to realize that they're like this, okay? They are connected. Look, even that looks snake-like. They are connected. The dark permeates the light permeates the dark. And only a naga can maneuver and entwine these two things into wholeness. And then look, when you bring them together, boom, you have enlightenment. That is the crown. That is the serpent behind the crown. See? That's what this is, enlightenment. All of the coming together of that light and dark into wholeness, also the void, into unity, is where you get gnosis, knowledge, enlightenment, and all of the juicy layers that you can start peeling back, more and more and more layers. It's never ending. Never ending. So, Naga Purnima coming up on the 17th. There are beautiful, if you don't know about it, there are beautiful mantras. You can say the Naga mantra. You're supposed to speak the kings. So when I was out on my dragon line, I kept hearing 9. I was even saying 9 through my jaw harp. 9, 9, 9. There are 9s, actually. 9s, like, look up 9. 9 is significant in energetic understandings and Kundalini and deities. 9, but also in the Indian tradition, there are 9, like, I believe serpent kings or something. You can say their names in a mantra over water, and then you breathe onto the water, right? Spitting, breathing. Cobras spit, right? That's why dragon queens and priestesses and shamans, they spit on the stones, they spit on the ground. You're literally activating that energy with your essence. You are literally like, you are embodying the naga, and you're spitting, you're transmitting. Okay. And so, there's these 9 names. You can say it over water and then take it to like, if I choose to fully do this, I'm just going to drive down, obviously, to the reservoir. Any moving bodies of water, if you don't have any moving bodies of water, you can give water to the land, especially right now. Like the Nagas, they're saying this is like another way. Like my serpentine energy is saying this is another way. And also anything to do with eggs and snakes wrapped around it. So if you want to do like a little eggshell ceremony, if you want to clear your ancestors, you can bury it. I mean, I did something I've had this for a very long time, and I just went through my Naga Panchami and my blessing and my clearing, so it got updated and it got another layer to it. But literally the eggs, like those golden, you see them in Indian temples where they have the golden egg plate and they put it on top of the thing, the egg, because the energy in the statue or structure, the energy pulls up and in a spiral. They're like Dan Winters, if you want to understand what happens in spirals and why he says to get centrifugal all the time. And then even in Project Hail Mary, how he had to make centrifuge to keep gravity, right? He had to spin. There's a lot there. I'm literally looking at like the spiral pattern. So spirals, naturally, I think that's how energy, when it's generated from ground and energetic conductivity, when something's grounded, I think the energy actually naturally moves in a spiral, or something acts upon it to cause it to spiral. Serpentine, right? Yeah, and if you break it down, at the end of the day, we're just snakes living in one giant snake. And we're all trying to become dragons. We're all getting our dragon wings, our dragon fire. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna stop it there for today. 22 minutes, but you can either take an egg and work with it like that, or you can pour your milk over the egg if you can't get near water. Take your water, bless it, blow on it, speak the 9 Serpent King names over it. This is also, like I said, we're in this karmic clearing. Clear out the karma for your ancestors and for the realm. This is about blessing the dragon lines, and then give the water to the earth where it's needed, since we're in this El Nino, this drought. If you can't access a natural body of water, normally you would give the water back to the water. If you can do that, if you aren't able to do that right now, best thing you can do is give water and milk to the lines, to the dragon lines, the ley lines. Very simple. Walk outside your door. If you are in the city, find a natural area, walk around. If you feel, oh, this is a good spot, the minute you rest in that spot, in that park, or in that forested area, wherever it is, that's exactly where your body said, this is where we want to be. Give it. Like, listen to your body's knowledge. As soon as you will notice you don't feel comfortable in places, right? When you're standing around everywhere, you find a spot to position yourself. Now, when you're not dealing with like group dynamics and power dynamics and stuff, and you're just by yourself, your body will naturally find a spot that it resonates with. That's the energetic link in right there. As soon as your body relaxes in a spot, give it to that spot. That's it. No, nothing fancy. That's how your body tells you. You don't have to get out equipment and be precise. No. As soon as you link up with a resonant spot on the planet, give it right there. Do it there. Even if the energy is not fully pulling there, just by you being there, you are the activator. You are the Naga. You can just by relaxing in that spot and going, this spot feels right, right? You activate all those currents and energies in that spot, and it took nothing. You just walked in and was like, this feels like a good place to stand or sit, right? That's it. Everything else comes from you, comes from your serpentine, your Naga energy. From that point on, you call open the spot. You are the birther then. You are the void. You are birthing the lines. Wherever you are, you're just activating more lines, more connections, just like connections in your brain. All right, I could go on and on and on. We will probably deep dive into this whole, because this is what I'm feeling, like moving the body, like yoga naturally coming, not, like I said, I am speaking from my experiences, I am speaking from my gnosis. I am not everything that comes from me. I am not saying like do it. I'm just saying here's something that I've experienced that works for me. Go ahead and try it if you want to. It is your free will choice, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.